Hello, and welcome to this very special webcast training. I'm John Commuta. Thanks for joining me this evening. I really appreciate your valuable time. Now, I'm a best-selling personal finance author, but if you've never heard of me, I won't be hurt because I will be telling you my story as we go along. Now, you want to pay close attention because we're going to be giving away a brand new Kindle Fire later. That's one reason you want to pay attention. You're going to have to answer a question that I'll ask, but I'm going to be covering it during the webinar, so you'll have the answer. And if you're the first one to answer, you get the Kindle Fire. But let me tell you before we even start, this is a time for you to disengage. So shut off the cell phone or put it on, vibrate or whatever. Close down any chats on your computer. First of all, they'll mess with your connection to this webinar, so they could cause you to have problems with the video or audio. Shut down social media, shut the door. This information is important to you, so you want to make sure that you're able to concentrate on it. Tell your family, hey, this is for all of us, so let me pay attention. The webinar itself is called 5 Smart Steps to Building Job Optional Income Without Any Additional Money, Risk, or Work. Now, why are we talking about job optional income? Because that is the purpose of any kind of wealth building. I mean, if we're wealth building, what do we eventually want that to do? We want that wealth to provide an income stream somewhere down the line so that our job can become optional. Hey, maybe you love your job. Maybe you'd like to work for 100 years at the job. That's up to you. But wouldn't it be nice if it was up to you and you didn't have to do it every day, whether you liked it or not? Now, in this webinar, I'm going to tell you about a true wealth building secret of the rich. And it really is. It's based on a process you almost certainly have never heard of before. This presentation will help you if you want to get off the debt treadmill, for example, if you have debts, so you don't have to keep working until you die to keep making the payments. And this is going to use a system that will pay off your debts and build wealth with the same dollars at the same time. And I'm not kidding about this. This presentation will help you if you're concerned that even if you do pay off your debts and invest your income, the markets may take it all away from you right when you need it, like it did for the people in 2008. This presentation will help you if you're making good money, but you know that the banks are actually getting wealthier on your money than you are. And the people who are running your 401k and the fund managers and stuff, they're all seeming to make money whether you make money or not. I'm also going to show you how to get a higher investment return than you could get anywhere else. And it really works that way. Now, does that sound interesting? Let me know in the chat if those things are things that you might be interested in. Give me a yes in the chat and just let me know that we're moving down the right track. It helps me see if we're on target because I want to feel like I'm sitting across the table from you like we were in your kitchen. And so I'd get that kind of feedback from you. I'd see if you were nodding or nodding off, so I'd like to get that kind of feedback in the chat. I see we're getting some yeses, so I really appreciate that. And I'm not trying to manipulate. I'm just trying to make sure we're connected. That's really what it is. Okay, here's my promise to you. I'm going to show you a system that you've almost certainly never heard of that can get you to where working at a job will be optional for you. It's a system that you will control. It's a system that will benefit you and those that you care about most. Now, is that a bold promise? If you think it is, give me another yes. And then stick around and watch me keep this promise. Now, if I keep the promise, I'm going to ask you for permission towards the end to take 10 to 20 minutes to give you a great offer to consider. Now, if that sounds fair, give me another yes, because I want to be fair and it's your time. It's your time. And I respect that. I will have a couple of free bonuses for everybody that's attending here, just for sticking around to the end of the presentation. The first free bonus is going to be all the slides from this presentation. So don't fret if, I'm cruising along at a pretty good pace. I can hit Mach 3 sometimes. And you miss something, don't worry. You're getting every word of the presentation. You'll also get a tool called the Calculate Your Debt Payoff tool. And this is a tool that you'll be able to calculate quickly exactly when you could be debt-free. Plus, we have our free gift giveaway. We're going to give away, as I said, the brand new Kindle Fire during the Q&A. To win it, just keep some basic notes. I understand you're getting all the slides, but keep a few notes because there may be some information that'll be helpful in winning the Kindle Fire. Now, Just so you understand how this is going to work technically, let me explain to you about asking questions or just commenting in the chat. If you want to ask a question, if you go down there where you type in your chat stuff, there's that little cartoon balloon down there. Well, if you click on that, it will then offer you two options. One is to make a comment. The other is to ask a question. So if you have a question anywhere during the presentation, click on the question, and then it shows up differently in the chat, and we'll be able to make sure we go back and find that question when we get to the Q&A part. So go down and click the balloon, select question if you're going to ask a question. Okay, let's get to the presentation. And in order to do that, I want to make sure that you get to see the slides. So here we go. All right. Why are we here today? Well, we are here today because Middle America is being financially squeezed. Average inflation-adjusted incomes have been stagnant or down for decades, and average debt loads in the meantime are up. And qualified retirement plans like 401ks, IRAs, 403bs, 529s, all those government qualified plans, they're really not working. Brokerage and management fees in those accounts can actually take out more, including opportunity cost, than your total contributions over your working lifetime. And taxes, think about this, grow along with your portfolio. As your portfolio gets bigger, so does your tax burden. So what's the result of all this stuff? Middle-class Americans now comprise less than half the nation's population, and that's down from 61% in 1971. This is according to a recent Pew Research Center study. So where did these people go when they left the middle class? Well, the share of the population living in the upper income tier rose from 14% to 21% over the same period. Meanwhile, the share in the lower income tier increased from 25% to 29%. Now, did you catch that? While America's middle class is indeed shrinking, 7% have found a way to move into the upper income tier, while only 4% fell into the lower income tier. That's not a lot of what you hear during this political season, is it? There's obviously something the upwardly mobile 7% have figured out that the rest of the middle class either don't know or don't know how to implement. That's where we come in. This unhappy middle-class America story has been my personal burden and motivation for more than 25 years, and it's been the same for my partner, Anthony Manganello. It's what drives us every day. We've had the privilege of helping millions of people learn how to stabilize their middle-class lifestyle and how to move into what Pew Research calls the upper income tier if they want to. If you'd like to learn how to move into the upper income tier, or at least not fall into the lower income tier, you are in the right place. And it doesn't matter what generation you're in, millennials, Generation Xers, and baby boomers. If you have a job and you're building your life and you're neither rich nor in poverty, I believe I have your answers in this webinar. But let's start back before I had any answers. In fact, before I even knew the right questions. Back in the day, I thought financial independence was a high income. So along with some partners, I built a business that paid me a lot of money each month. I lived what I thought was the American dream. But then our sole supplier went out of business on a Friday, and we were out of business by Monday. Now, my family and I had been living a fun life, but it was based on everything going right. That weekend, I learned that everything doesn't always go right. Now, during that ordeal, I learned one of the most important facts of my financial life. See if this resonates with you. Consumer debt is my enemy. When I used a bank's money, I became their investment. I was building the bank's wealth, not my own. When you use borrowed money, the creditor owns that part of your income stream for years and decades into your future. So I became obsessed because I felt vulnerable to my creditors, and I was determined to break free from their leverage over my life as quickly as possible. So I built a system, and it was eventually a study course. But way before that, Lois and I started on this system with 26 years left on our home mortgage, plus a typical assortment of other debts. Following my new system, we paid off everything, including the house, in just 4 years, 7 months. And so I eventually wrote it down because I thought, hey, that's pretty cool. And it was called Debt Free and Prosperous Living Home Study Course. Now, we did what we did there, the 4 years and 7 months, using nothing more than our job paychecks. We owned our home and our vehicles, but more importantly, we owned our entire after-tax income. That peeled away layers of stress. We enjoyed our time with each other more, and we had more time and energy to enjoy our children and eventually our grandchildren. So my debt elimination system worked a lot better than my original make and spend a lot of money system had. And I found that it worked for nearly everyone I showed it to. Most of them could pay off all their debts, including their mortgages, in somewhere between 5 and 9 years, depending on how creative they were at getting into debt. So Debt-Free and Prosperous Living became so popular that I had to actually create my own publishing company to get it out there to the marketplace. It was called Financial Independence Network Limited, or just FINL. Well, we grew so fast, we were selected to Inc. magazine's prestigious Inc. 500 list 3 times, and that's not easy. My market manager during that time was a young man named Anthony Manganello. Now he's my partner and co-instructor in the program I'm talking to you about today. After FINL, Tony branched out and he started a company of his own called Tower Legal Network, helping people settle their credit card debt. They served almost 4,000 clients, settling more than $40 million in debt, and they had the highest client retention rate in the settlement industry at 96.4%. Meanwhile, Debt-Free and Prosperous Living, my course, evolved into the Transforming Debt into Wealth system. It was published by world-class publisher Nightingale Conant. It was advertised on satellite and local radio for nearly a decade and became the most popular and successful personal debt elimination and wealth building course in the world, which led to my conducting 13 worldwide seminars with Tony Robbins' Wealth Mastery Program. Now, all these teaching opportunities allowed me to help more than 3 million people get on the road to a better financial life. Tony Manganello and I have worked together for more than 2 decades, and we've seen what works and what doesn't work. And with all that we've learned over the years, the system I'm going to explain to you in this webcast revolutionized our personal financial lives and what we now teach to others. We can save you a lot of pain. You get to cheat. You get to take the shortcut that we took the long cut to learn ourselves, the shortcut to job optional income. So what is job optional income? Well, it's pretty simple. It's having enough dependable, ongoing, non-job income streams to more than cover your ongoing expenses so that having a job is optional. Now, here's what it could look like. You get some income from your investments. Maybe you get a little income from a business of your own. You operate out of the house. And you eventually get Social Security, maybe a pension, an annuity. Maybe you turn your house into an income stream with a reverse mortgage. Anyway, all this comes together and it creates what we call job optional income. Joy. So what difference could joy make in your life? Think about this. Stop and really think about it for a moment. What would you do if you were already enjoying job optional income? Write it in the chat. I mean, maybe you'd move to the mountains and paint, or you'd travel, or you'd just move closer to family members you care about. Or maybe you'd continue doing what you're doing because you love it, but you just wouldn't feel the stress of having to depend on that to pay the bills. So put it in there and, everybody's on a first name basis. So, we'll be able to see what we're all thinking about and if we're all kind of on the same wavelength. Now, can you see yourself living that job optional income or joy lifestyle? Again, you're going to have to force yourself to think about it because it's not the kind of thing that we naturally think about because we're just getting through every day, right? Can you feel the stress? If you put yourself in that mental state, like you've already got job optional income, you can feel the stress melting away. Well, before you get too relaxed, here's some more reality for you. According to the National Institute on Retirement Security study, and again, this is why Tony and I are doing what we're doing, Americans are in aggregate, in total, $6.8 trillion shy of what they'll need to ever stop working. If we look at people ages 50 to 64, they have just $12,000 saved on average. $12,000. Think about your monthly bills. How long would $12,000 keep you going? If we include the younger people and look at people aged 25 to 64, the average drops down to just $3,000 saved. But here's the scary part. Almost half of Americans have nothing saved. Zero, nada. Put all these statistics together, it comes out that 92% of Americans are short of what they'll need, and this goes for Canadians as well, of what they'll ever need, and not by just a little bit, but by frightening margins. So what does this tell us? While Americans and Canadians will tell you they expect to be able to retire someday, even early, well, most of them are not doing the things that can actually make that possible. They're fooling themselves. And this is not just about retiring. It's about having the non-job income security to fully explore your life, regardless of your age. Whether you'd like to start your own business, work for a cause you love, or travel, it takes income security to pay your living expenses while you're doing it. So here's the reality. Without some kind of job optional income plan, you have a 92% chance that you'll never be able to slow down or stop working. The banks will end up with most of your money, you'll end up with their debts, and then you'll eventually die, which I guess is a way to stop working, but it's not the preferable way of doing it. With a job optional income plan, you can work as many years as you want at whatever you want to do. You can also stop working if you want. You end up with your money pays you, the banks end up with nothing of yours, and you can enjoy your money while you're still alive. What a concept. Plus, with a job optional income plan, you can have a real shot at joining the 7% who are moving from middle class to upper income tier. Now, before we start, I need to tell you this presentation is going to be informational. I can't make any promises about how the system will perform for you because I don't know how well you'll perform with the system. Okay, let's get started. It's 5 smart steps to building job optional income. The first step is planning. The second step is spending management. The third step is cash accumulation and deployment. The fourth step is debt elimination. And the fifth step is investing to build income producing wealth. So let's go through those one at a time. It's a process. It's not just do all this stuff simultaneously. No, first we need to create a plan. You're just wandering aimlessly without a plan. You have to know where you're going and have a strategy to get there. So that has to be the first step. The second step then is part of that plan is managing your spending. Now, this is not necessarily self-deprivation or some sort of really hard, icky thing where you don't get to have a life, but it is managing your spending with your brain turned on. What does that do? That allows you to accumulate some cash instead of wasting it all. And when you accumulate that cash, what do you want to do with that? Well, the most leveraged thing you can do with it is eliminate debts. You actually get the highest return on investment by doing that. And so now what happens when you eliminate debts? You regain ownership of your income stream. All that money that was going to creditors is now back in your lap. And what can you do with that? You can use it to grow wealth. What kind of wealth? Wealth that produces job optional income. That's how the process works. So let's go through the steps. Step 1, planning. You need at least 3 data points for your plan. Number 1, the age you'd like your job to be optional. You may not want to retire completely, but when would you like that to be optional for you? Number 2 data point, your likely monthly income at that time, as you can predict it right now. And only count dependable ongoing income that you are reasonably sure is going to be there. And we'll talk about that. And then the third data point is your likely monthly expenses at that time. Excuse me. So what is your desired job optional income age? This is the age at which you want your dependable income to cover your predictable expenses. You may not want to leave your job, as I said, but you could because it's optional. Number 2, what is your dependable ongoing income going to be at that point in time? Well, here's where you got to do a little noodling. Might be a business of your own, and maybe that exists, maybe it doesn't exist yet, but that's an option for you, and it's a good one. Investment income. We're going to be talking a lot about that. And Social Security, when you get to that age place where, 59 and a half or older, you can look at this. as an option for income. And actually, excuse me, with Social Security, it'd be 62 or older. So, and you can go to socialsecurity.gov and they'll tell you what you can expect to get when you reach those various retirement type ages. Or you might have a pension. You know, that's another thing you can look at if you're fortunate enough to have a pension and you work at something that delivers a pension. Good for you, and you can count that in there because it's pretty predictable. All right. The third data point is to estimate your job optional income monthly expenses. Now, these are mostly the same types of expenses that you have today, but you need to consider what debts will be gone by that time. Will your mortgage payment be gone? Would car payments be gone? Your bill and expense picture will likely change. Some things may go up, some things will go down or go away. So you need to project that. Will you downsize? Maybe your home, maybe your car. So you have some leverage between now and then to change that expense picture. So will that leave you enough to live on? That's the real question. Will you end up with a projected job optional income surplus, or will you have a job optional income gap? In other words, at the time where you'd like your job to be optional, what does it look like? Does it look like you'll have enough to live on, or does it look like you won't have enough to live on? And if you don't have enough, what's your plan to close any gap by that point in time? Your plan also needs to include the exact steps to get you there, from where you are now to a job optional income surplus. Now, these steps need to be achievable by you, and they need to be believable by you. If your subconscious mind can't believe it's achievable, it won't work on it. And you need your subconscious mind working on this with you. So you need to write this plan down or put it on your computer. Why? Because your brain leaks. You just forget stuff over time. So you need something to be able to go back to and remind yourself, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. This is what we're doing in the short term, medium term, long term. And this is what I'm doing right now. Another reason is your resolve fades. So, you're all fired up about it right now, but then a week from now, you're just not quite as fired up. Well, you can review your plan and get fired up again. And you must remain accountable to your plan. You have to, there's a statement that says plans change, but decisions don't. So make a decision to follow your plan. Okay, that's step one, planning. Where does that take us? It takes us to step two, spending management. Your financial enemies don't want you to figure this out. You are being systematically manipulated into buying things you don't need. Now, you might think, oh, it's just my weak will or something. No, you're just being a puppet, and there are marionettes on the top of those strings. You are also being systematically manipulated into using credit to make many of these purchases, because the banks want to own your future income. The problem is, if the banks own your future income, you won't be able to use it to build job optional income because it's the same dollars. You will then be forced to work until you die. You'll just stay in the 92%. Well, you need to fight back against this manipulation. You need a system that can help you understand the manipulation and defeat it. You need a system to protect a portion of your current income to build your future income. And you need a system that will help you spend with your brain rather than your emotions. That system also needs to give you feedback. To manage your spending, your brain needs to know the numbers and the trends. It needs to know your income and your expenses. It needs to know where the money's going, because what gets measured gets done. So download and use an income and expense statement. You can get free ones from Microsoft. They're available at templates.office.com, or just go on and search for, income and expense statement template. You're gonna have to know where your money is going, and that's what an income and expense statement will show you. So that's step two, manage your spending. And you're really gonna need to keep a kind of a journal too for cash expenditures, because you go to the ATM on Monday, and by Friday, I could hold a gun to your head and you wouldn't be able to tell me where 80% of that money went. Well, you need to track it, at least for a few weeks, just so you know where it's going. And that will give you a really good handle on what might be available to turn it into job optional income. All right, step three, cash accumulation. You need a cash accumulation platform. Now, this is more than just a box or a hole in the ground or even a savings account at a bank. You want an account that will accumulate and grow your cash. Ideally, this platform should be risk-free and tax-free with guaranteed internal growth and restriction-free access to your money. That doesn't sound like a qualified plan, does it? It isn't in my mind, and so we'll talk more about that later too. This is also your cash deployment platform. This is the staging account from which you'll deploy your accumulated cash, the money that you'll use for major purchases, for debt elimination, and for investments will come from this account. You could use a bank savings account or a CD. The problem is the growth rates there are pitifully low, but your money is relatively secure from capital loss. Unfortunately, even the anemic growth in these accounts is taxable. It's not tax-free. So that is stage 3 or step 3, the accumulate cash step. And you're getting your cash together. First of all, you've managed your spending. So now you are finding cash that you were otherwise frittering away. It was leaking through the cracks in your life. And now you're corralling some of it and you're accumulating it in your cash accumulation account. So now again, what do we do with that? We eliminate debts with it. Now that's just the banks stealing your future. So use your accumulated cash from step 3 to systematically accelerate your debt payoff. Ideally, this system would grow the money you're using for debt elimination at the same time those dollars are eliminating your debts. If that sounds magical, stay tuned. Debt elimination is crucial to achieving job optional income. You cannot service a typical consumer debt load and build job optional income. Your monthly debt payments are the same dollars that should be building your job optional income streams. Now, debt elimination, actually basic debt elimination is as simple as 1, 2, 3. Number 1, stop increasing your debt. That's not rocket science. Think about it. Stop increasing your debt. Step 2, maximize your monthly margin. What is that? Go back to the manage your spending step. When you manage your spending, you begin to have a margin. That is money beyond your expenses. Right now, it might be going to Starbucks. Who knows where it's going? It's just going. So you start to corral that because you start to realize the value of that margin money. And so you're a little more disciplined and you come up with money beyond your costs, and that is your margin. And you want to maximize your monthly margin to eliminate debts. Focus that monthly margin on paying off your smallest balance debt first and moving one debt at a time up to your largest balance debt. You focus all that extra money on just that one debt. So you'd start with your smallest balance debt. Don't worry about interest rates. That is not as important as you might think. It's really more important to get rid of debts quicker, and you'll be able to do that if you start with the smallest balance. So you start with the smallest balance debt, and you take all your margin money and add it to the payment, the monthly payment of that one debt. And so now you're sending a much larger payment there, so you're going to pay that off more quickly. What do you do with all the rest of the debts? Well, you certainly make the payments required on those debts, but only the minimum required payment on those other debts, which will give you more margin money. You pound down that first debt till it's gone. Now you've recovered its monthly payment, right? So you can add that to your margin, roll it onto the next smallest balance debt, and pound away on that debt until it's gone. Now you recover its monthly payment. This is commonly called the snowball method. You roll that snowball, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger as you go from debt to debt to debt until you get to your largest balance debt and you pay that off. So that's the basic simple debt elimination system. Now, just imagine, how would you feel every day if you had no credit card payments, no car payments, no student loan payments, no department store payments, or other consumer debt payments? How would you feel? What would that mean to you? Let me know in the chat. Remember, we're sitting across your kitchen table here. Let me know in the chat what you do if you were completely debt-free. What would that freedom mean to you? Of course, it would give you money to build job optional income, wealth, but just think about what would it mean to you? Pop it in the chat. Let me know. Now, most people Never, you may find it's hard to actually think this with seriousness in your mind because people don't let themselves think of this because they don't believe it's really possible for them. But I can tell you after 25 years plus of helping people with this specific problem, it is very possible to get debt free. Okay, so that's step 4 of the system, 5 steps to producing job optional income. So what do you do now? You've not only got the margin you squeezed out back in step 2, but you've recovered all your monthly payments from the debts. So now you've got a whopping big margin. So what do you do with that? Well, now you focus it on safe investing. Now, banks know how to grow their money. So let's start right there. We're going to invest. Okay, people would be, okay, let me max out my 401k. That's not what I believe. And trust me, I've looked at all the options out there, and I'm going to tell you what I think is the best for most people. What do? You do what, there was I think it was John Dillinger, the bank robber back in the 20s and 30s. When he finally got captured, they asked him, why do you rob banks? And he said, that's where the money is. Okay, banks know how to have the money. So let's see what they do. We got to take a page from their playbook and invest in the same assets they do. It's not it's not the stock market. It's stuff like real estate, business loans and leases, education loans, your own borrowing. When you go, slap down the plastic at a store or on the Amazon website, you're borrowing from a bank. So that it becomes their investment. As you pay the interest back on them through the monthly payments, you are paying them their return on investment in that thing you just bought off the Amazon site. So we need to look at this and say, okay, if that's the way banks make money and they know how to make money, then maybe that's how we need to do it. Another thing you want to do is, my recommendation, stay away from paper investment markets. Stocks and bonds come with capital risk. Capital risk means you could lose the money you put in, not just the gains. You could lose the money you put in, and people have done that. I have close friends who lost their shirt in 2008. These are a number of people, not just one, a lot of people. I knew people who were going to retire in 2008 who are still working. I know a close friend of mine goes to church with me. When it was all over, when all the dust settled, his IRA had in it only what he had put in it over the previous 20 years. All the growth was gone. So that's the kind of thing that can happen in paper investment markets. Now, if you enjoy sitting in front of 3 or 4 monitors and looking at all the charts and graphs and figuring out all the candlestick patterns and all these different things, and and you really understand how it works and you really win more than you lose, go ahead and do it, because we're actually going to show you a system where you can do that anyway through this system. But for the average person through a qualified plan, you might as well throw the dice on a green felt tabletop in Las Vegas. The house is going to win. Look, why take the risk? Your primary income source is already at risk. What? What is he talking about? Think about it. Is your job secure? I know a lot of people who'll say, I don't know if I want to invest. I like that. Or I don't know if I want to start a business. I want a good, secure job. Really? Where are those? I mean, when you get a job with a great company, like Amazon's a good company, FedEx, I don't care, UPS, it doesn't matter who it is, Boeing. I mean, you just, all of a sudden you hear on the news, oh, they laid off 15,000 people. What? Those 15,000 people went into work thinking, yep, I'm at my good, secure, dependable job. I'm going to get my paycheck at the end of the week. And what they got a pink slip and walked out with a box full of their stuff. Your job is not dependable. So that income source is already at risk. Why take a risk with the money you're trying to build up? Your 401k, IRA, 403b, et cetera, that's at risk. Why? It's in the shock market. That's where most of that money goes. And look at a chart. Look at any S&P 500 chart. Does it only go up? No, it also goes down. Seek investments with little to no capital risk. You want your job optional income funds to be there when you need them. So look for alternative investments. These are alternatives to the markets. They include things like private equity funds, private lending, life settlement funds, structured commercial loan funds, bridge loans. These are the same kinds of things banks invest in. These alternative investments Same type of assets banks invest in. They're backed by real assets with real value, not just paper. If if you've got a brokerage account or something, you know what you really own? You own the latest monthly statement, because the rest of it's just out there. It's digital bits and stuff, and so it can disappear pretty quickly. Most of these types of assets that we're talking about here do not fluctuate in value like the stock and bond markets. They're just a lot more stable. So we're looking at the 5 steps to job optional income. Step 1, planning. Step 2, control your spending with your brain, and something will be left over. You let that accumulate in your cash accumulation platform, which you then marshal to eliminate your debts, to recover the payments you're now wasting as return on investments to all your creditors. And then you use that money to grow wealth, which results in job optional income streams from that wealth. And don't forget, by the way, as we go through this, we have a Kindle Fire for 1 lucky winner, plus 2 valuable bonuses for everyone who stays until the Q&A. One of the bonuses is actually a tool that will help you calculate your total debt elimination timeline. It's called the Calculate Your Debt Payoff form. And so you'll be able to know the month and year you could be debt-free. The other bonus is all the slides you're looking at right now from this presentation. So you will have all 5 steps and all the words and all the stuff in the middle. So was that helpful? Did the 5-step job optional income process make sense to you? Just, give me a yes in the chat. Let me know. And then we're good to keep moving along, because I want to keep going, because I want to respect your time and let you have back the rest of your Wednesday evening here. So, okay, I see we're looking good. So now that you have the 5 steps to building job optional income, let's get back to my story for just a minute, so I can tell you what I learned after Lois and I paid off our house, the last debt we were paying on. So let's call this the rest of my story. One day, when we were celebrating the payoff of our last debt, I suddenly realized that I would still have to work until I died. Think about that for a second. I was debt-free, but I realized, wow, I will still probably have to work until I die. Of course, I could try to scratch out an existence on Social Security when I got old enough, but that didn't seem pleasurable to me. I mean, just ask somebody who's on Social Security, and the fact of the matter is, the average person out there is relying on Social Security to be 90% of their retirement income. Think about, go ask somebody, go check at Social Security and see what your payment's going to be, your monthly payment, and see if you can live on that. So at that moment, I knew I had to focus my newly freed up cash flow on building multiple independent ongoing income sources that would then supply me with the income we needed to live on after I wanted my job to be optional. So my thinking had finally grown to 5 steps. Now, over the 2.5 decades since then, I've pursued the best systems to accomplish each step. Now, why is that important? Because systems are smarter than goals. Goals are arbitrary destinations without the steps to actually get you there. Systems, on the other hand, are the step-by-step process actions that, if followed, will get you to your goals and likely beyond them. Goals produce desire, oh yeah, but then eventually frustration. Systems produce results. Now, I've taught you the 5 steps. You could create your own action plan and go and execute them on your own. And if you decide to do that, God bless you. I pray that it works for you. Or you could follow our system that has been 2.5 decades in the making to achieve this process. Our system is the cheat. It's the shortcut. The 5 steps on steroids. Our system is powered by a uniquely designed financial platform that I'll tell you about that you've almost certainly never heard of before, unless you heard about it from us. Our system will accelerate your debt payoff and simultaneously build your wealth with an account that will only and always go up at a growth rate 10 to 20 times what banks are paying, with no market corrections, no crashes, no surprises. Our system can eliminate your debts and build job optional income with the same dollars at the same time. It can grow your money tax-free. It can give you tax-free use of your money for any reason at any time, while leaving the full amount growing in the account. What? You could self-finance your consumer purchases. You could self-finance car purchases. It's way better than a 529 plan to save for college. Trust me. This could instantly and dramatically increase your family's net worth. It can protect your money from lawsuits and judgments. And those regulations vary a little bit by state, but it's in there at some level. This system could allow you to pass your money to your heirs tax-free. It can let you invest in any asset or strategy and give you a higher combined return than you could get with that investment all by itself, whatever it is. Now, can I describe this system to you? Do I have your permission? Remember, I asked for it at the beginning. I have already shown you the 5-step process for building job optional income. Now I want to show you how we've systematized and automated these steps. And I hope you're going to let me show it to you, because I think it'll be well worth your time to at least see what we've done. But before I go into our new system, I need your okay in the chat, because that was the deal. And while you're hopefully giving me all those yeses and I see them rolling in, I want to say this is not for everybody. Only people who want to completely change their financial life. This is not dip your pinky in. This is a system that really will change the course of where you're going from here. There is a small investment for our system. Yes, there is, but I've already given you the steps, so you can try to do it yourself. But we're going to make this thing impossible for you to not get. Seriously. Our system is called the Smart Wealth System. And those letters stand for S, start with a plan. M, maximize your accelerator margin. Remember, we talked about margin. A, activate your private bank. This is the machinery. This is the engine that's going to drive this thing. R is remove your debts. T is transition to investing like a bank. Let's look at this. The Smart Wealth System is a 5-session course. Every session has 2 major sections. One is the primary lesson, where Tony and I teach you together what that lesson is all about. You get related bonus lessons and tools as well to help you with that. Plus, there will be, it says here, 4 live online classroom sessions, 1 a week for 4 weeks. We've decided to turn that into unlimited. So you'll be able to come to as many online classroom sessions as you want. Right now, we're doing them on Thursday evenings. They're live. You get to ask questions, and you'll have unlimited access to that. So right there, you just saw that it got better. So let's look at the 5 sessions. Session 1, S, start with a plan. We will take you through a planning process that will give you a clear picture of where your current financial trajectory is taking you by your job optional income age. You pick that age. You decide, hey, I think I want to retire by X, or I want to be able to have my job be optional by, such a date. That's your choice. This is the diagnostic stage of the Smart Wealth System. If your current trajectory shows you're not going to have enough income, more income than your expenses by that age at which you'd like your job to be optional, the rest of the course will help you turn your income gap into an income surplus. If, on the other hand, your current trajectory from this diagnostic analysis shows you will have more income than expenses by that age, the rest of the Smart Wealth course will focus on growing that income surplus into an even larger and more dependable mountain of job optional income. So let's look at the lesson in which we teach you this session 1 information. You get the lesson on video. Tony and I on video, very entertaining, very cool. We're both good looking, so you're going to enjoy it. Or as one of our political candidates would say, it's terrific. You'll love it. So we teach you on video, on streaming video, but you also get the audio of the video training, and that's downloadable. You can stream it on the web, but it's also downloadable if you want to put it as an MP3 file on any device that you carry around with you, your phone or an iPad or whatever you might have, and you can play it on there as well. Plus, you get lesson documents with session 1. You get the presentation slides. Just like I'm going to give you all the slides for this presentation, then you get every one of the slides from the presentation of the teaching. Plus, you get the Start with the Plan lesson worksheet. This is the worksheet you fill in as you follow along with me and Tony as we go through the lesson. So it's like your class notes. Plus, you get the Job Optional Income Living Expense Projection Excel spreadsheet. This is a spreadsheet that works in spreadsheet software so that you can use it to project your living expenses. And this is something we take you through during the lesson about how to project your expenses at that job optional income date out there in the future. And this is a tool that'll do all the math for you. So session 1 is a great start to the planning process. But I got to thinking, following a financial plan to a desired outcome requires personal performance principles most people have never been properly taught. So I thought I should share what I've learned about them. So your session 1 bonuses start with an audio lesson called The Laws of Success. Now, this is a full teaching lesson on MP3 audio. It's like, I don't know, 50 minutes. It's not just 10 seconds of information. This lesson reveals 15 bedrock principles that, if acted on, can pretty much guarantee your success in whatever you focus them on. They're at the root of all success. Plus, you'll get another audio lesson called The Laws of Achievement. This lesson examines 12 fundamental achievement truths. If you've bothered to establish any goals for your life, following these time-tested rules will lead you to the goal accomplishment. You also get a PDF, a tool called your Average Job Optional Income Day. So this tool will help you determine how expensive a lifestyle you plan on living most average days after you want your job to be optional. You get another bonus. It's a PDF called the Post-Employment Lifestyle To-Do List. Now, this tool will help you list all the things you'll get to do at that point, not the things you'll have to do in your job optional income years. And you also get another tool called the Monthly Savings to Reach Your Job Optional Income Goal. This tool will help you determine the savings amount you'll need to put away each month over various timelines to achieve a given amount of job optional income. So that's a lot. And it was just session 1. Let's look at session 2. Maximize your accelerator margin. This session will give you the most visibility you've probably ever had into the spending side of your current financial situation. We will use both psychological and mathematical tools to reshape your spending management so you can maximize the amount available for the next step in the Smart Wealth system. You're going to feel the confidence of finally being able to control your money. If that session 1 plan that you worked out shows a job optional income gap, in other words, not enough income to cover your expenses, this session will show you how to start closing that gap to solidify your financial future. If your session 1 plan shows a projected job optional income age surplus, this session will dramatically increase the cash flow your Smart Wealth system can focus on exploding your job optional income. Now, the session 2 lesson, like session 1, comes on streaming video. You also get the audio of the video training so you can take it with you. You also get lesson documents with the session 1 teaching. You get the slides from the presentation, and you get the worksheet so you can follow along with me and Tony during the presentation. And you get a workbook called the Income and Expense Statement Excel Workbook. Now, to call this a spreadsheet is to dramatically undervalue it. This is a multi-tab Excel workbook that will help you track, I'm not kidding, every dollar of your expenditures through the course of a year, including things that don't happen monthly. You know, a lot of times when we're looking at projecting our expenses, we forget about those things that pop up quarterly or semi-annually, like insurance premiums or property taxes, stuff like that. HOA payments, whatever it is, and we forget about it, and then we get to that month and we're like, oh my gosh, I forgot about this insurance premium. How am I going to pay this? This will track everything, and at the end, you will see your exact accelerator margin month by month throughout the year. This tool is invaluable. But lesson 2 got me to thinking, you know, if maximizing your accelerator margin is that important to achieving job optional income, and it is, then we should provide you with some additional portable, easily reviewable training to help you do just that. So your session 2 bonuses start out with an audio lesson called Finding Your Accelerator Margin. This audio lesson takes you on a tour of all the places money can be leaking out of your life, money that could be building your wealth. You'll be surprised by some of them. You'll also get an audio lesson called Manage Your Spending to Maximize Your Accelerator Margin. This streamable or downloadable audio lesson unveils manipulations used on you by the marketing industry so you can make buying decisions with your brain rather than with your emotions. This one revelation could free up a lot of money that could be better focused on building your job optional income. Now, session 3 is called Activate Your Private Bank. And this one is the one that gives me goosebumps because it's really powerful. It unveils the private banking concept. the platform from which you will pay off your debts if you have any and build your wealth using the same dollars at the same time. This is the engine that powers the Smart Wealth system. Your private bank helps you reduce both your current and future expenses and increases your future income. So it closes your job optional income gap by moving both levers, the income and expense levers. The private bank is a truly unique tool that is quietly being used by America's richest families and biggest companies, including most banks, to safely, predictably, and powerfully build their wealth in a tax-free environment. And oh yeah, it's not in a bank account. In this session, we do much more than just tell you what a private bank is. We unpack how to start your bank, how to grow your bank, and how to use your bank. This is a how-to training. Now, this is important. A true private bank platform is only available in the United States and Canada. If you're viewing this webinar and you're not in one of those two locations, I'm sorry, you're going to gain valuable information out of this. But the way we do what we do to make this work is only happening right now in the US and Canada. We are working with some people in the UK and just talking to some folks around the world to see if we can get it working in some other places. But it's because of differences in tax laws and insurance regulations. That's all I can tell you. So the session 3 lesson, again, Tony and I teaching on video, and you get the audio. You also get the Activate Your Private Bank slides so you can review every piece of the information, and you get the worksheet to follow along with us and fill in the blanks during the actual training. But lesson 3 got me to thinking. At the root of most people's financial limitations is their mode of thinking about money. This mode comes largely from your experiences growing up. So I figured I'd better climb into your head and expand your thinking. So your session 3 bonus is an audio lesson called Your Mind's Money Box. In this lesson, I expose a mental blueprint that confines most people to a lower economic reality than they're capable of. I go on to explain how to redraw that blueprint, freeing you to achieve and enjoy more financial rewards than you may now be able to actually dream of. So are we doing okay? I want to make sure that we're okay at this point. Chat yes if you're tracking with me. I know I've been feeding you water out of a fire hose, but I want to respect your time and let you out as soon as I can. Now I'm giving you a lot of information fast, but we're gonna keep moving here. And I see we're getting yeses. Now I have a special offer for you before we start the Q&A to make the Smart Wealth system easily accessible for you. And we'll get that to you real quickly here. But I want to get through the last couple sessions. Session 4, remove your debts. This session shows you how to use your private bank to pay off your debts. Using your private bank as the platform for this step means that every dollar going through your bank to pay off your debts actually, track with me here, stays in your bank, earning interest and dividends at 10 to 20 times what regular banks pay. Since this growth is tax-free inside there, it's on par with what the average stock market investor normally earns after taxes. And debt elimination reduces both your current and post-employment expenses. Those debts are gone. You don't have those bills in the future. And so this further closes your job optional income gap and increases your future wealth. The lesson, again, Tony and I teaching you on video and audio. You get the presentation slides and you get the Remove Your Debts lesson worksheet to follow along during the presentation. Plus, you get a debt prioritization spreadsheet in Excel so you can use it on your computer or as a PDF form that you can fill out with a pen or a pencil. But session 4 got me to thinking. If you've been using debt to finance your life and lifestyle, you may not fully comprehend the scope of how this undermines your ability to ever achieve job optional income. So I thought I should explain it to you. So your session 4 bonuses start with an audio lesson called Debt, Your Biggest Obstacle to Wealth. This lesson exposes just how destructive carrying debt is to your ability to ever build job optional income. So you can either make debt payments or build wealth. Pick one. You also get an audio lesson called Whose Wealth Are You Building? This will freak you out. This lesson goes into more detail on the league of industries we call the Coalition of Four. This powerful marketplace consortium shrewdly diverts most of the money you produce in your life into their bank vaults rather than into your own. Now, if this is starting to sound like a lot of stuff, This program is designed to be consumed one session per week. Now, if you want to jump in the deep end, you'll be able to access all 5 sessions immediately. However, the live online classroom sessions with me and Tony will only be conducted once a week. Okay, session 5, transition into investing like a bank. Here's where we turn up the accelerator. This session examines how you can invest in the same kind of assets banks invest in, like real estate, vehicle financing, college loans, businesses, home remodeling projects, and other low-risk, high-return, asset-based investments. Notice real estate and businesses in these investment asset classes. Rental real estate and a business of your own can produce income streams independent of your job, which could help with job optional income. So these are just 2 more ways to do it. And when you use your private bank to invest in these asset classes, all of the dollars you use for these investments, yes, will continue earning interest and dividends inside your bank. So what happens to all that money staying and growing in your private bank? It too can be turned into an ongoing, dependable income stream whenever you want. You can also easily use funds from your bank to invest in any other asset you feel confident with, like options, precious metals, art, whatever other investments you understand. You should only invest in things you understand, but you can use money from your bank to make these investments. In fact, it makes the investments return a higher return. So, like with the previous sessions, you get the training on video and audio, you get the slides, and you get the worksheet to follow along during the training. But lesson 5 got me to thinking. If you're going to invest to achieve job optional income, well, you need to think like a wealth builder. So I thought I should give you the advantage of knowing the principles that successful wealth builders apply. So your session 5 bonuses start with an audio lesson called The Laws of Wealth Creation. This lesson unpacks 11 foundational principles to successful wealth building. If you just get these critical truths down inside you, your actions will draw you towards money and money towards you. You also get an audio lesson called Investing in Real Estate. This lesson is a step-by-step guide to operating a single-family home rental real estate business. It's a detailed overview that makes sure you consider every important aspect of investing in rental real estate, from analyzing properties before you make an offer to building your support team of experts. Plus, you get these bonus tools. You get a personal balance sheet as an Excel spreadsheet and also as a printable form that you can work with a pen or pencil. Now, what's a balance sheet do? If you're not familiar with a balance sheet, it's what you use to calculate your net worth. What is your net worth? It is the best numerical statement of your wealth. So if you want to find out how wealthy you are, you need a balance sheet to tell you how wealthy you are. That number should be growing from month to month and year to year. So you want to have that. We also give you a sample private bank business loan documents and sample business loan amortization schedule. Now, why do we give you those 2 things? Well, because remember, one of the things you might want to invest in is a business of your own, or maybe even make loans to other businesses. Now, an example is Lois and I have rental real estate, and we keep those properties in LLC company structure. So when one of the properties recently needed a roof, we took a loan from our private bank, we lent it to the LLC. The LLC could make tax-deductible payments back to us, and then we could make tax-deductible on the interest payments back to our private bank. But to do that legally, the LLC or any business that's doing the loan needs to have these documents in their corporate logbook. And so rather than have you hunt around for them or not even know you need them, we give them to you. So it's a system. Start with a plan. That plan will help you maximize your accelerator margin so that you can push as much money as possible into your bank, your cash accumulation and deployment platform. And this is a very powerful one. Then you focus that, you marshal that money on removing your debts. And we actually teach you a different strategy than the one I gave you a little bit earlier, which is good for eliminating your debts if you were not using the bank. But we show you how to do it through your bank so that every dollar you're eliminating your debts with is also simultaneously staying in your bank and building your wealth. Now, you recover all the money from your debt payments. What do you do with it? You use it to transition into investing like a bank in the asset classes that are safe and return good returns, which will eventually produce job optional income. That's the whole process. That's how you do it. And we teach you step by step, principle by principle, how to get you there so that you don't have to figure out any of this stuff by yourself. So there are your 5 Smart Wealth System sessions. Does that mean I'm done? Not exactly, because see, we decided we would like to give you another complete session as a bonus. It's called Eliminate Your Job Optional Income Gap, because most people end up with a gap. Now, this is a complete 6th session, including video and audio lessons, handouts, and bonuses, bringing all the tools of the previous 5 sessions to bear on making sure your post-employment income streams will add up to more than your post-employment living expenses. You get the lesson on video and audio, you get all the slides, you get the PDF that allows you to track with us during the training. But lesson 6 got me to thinking, if I'm going to ask you to consider making bigger life changes to allow you to enjoy job optional income, then perhaps I should give you a teaching on just that. So your bonuses for session 6 start with an audio lesson called Redesign Your Life. This lesson takes you outside your life plan box to explore other lifestyle and location possibilities. You may even find a more desirable retirement life or even current life in a less expensive area, possibly even doing something much different from your current occupation. And then I had yet another thought. If you'd like to take some steps to increase your income to help you build your wealth and close any job optional income gap, there are several ways you can do that. So I thought I should explain those to you. So you also get an audio lesson called How to Increase Your Income. This powerful lesson examines your realistic options for increasing your primary income stream and adding additional income streams, from strategies for getting a raise to changing employers, to changing careers, to starting a business of your own. This lesson helps you determine what would work best for your present and future life. And as a special bonus, we will give you a free personal private bank consultation, one-on-one. This is with either me or Tony or one of our team of specially trained specialists on this. Now, you can find out how much job optional income your Smart Wealth System could build for you by your job optional income age, and you can find out how rapidly your Smart Wealth System could pay off all your debts. Okay, now I'm done. That's the Smart Wealth System course. So let's hear from the few people actually using the Smart Wealth System. Here's Lori. She says, with the Smart Wealth System, I feel very confident about all that it has to offer. You will find bonus videos with each session that teach you how to reduce your expenses, achieve professional success, and detailed advice on ways to invest your money. For anyone who's striving for financial security and for work being optional in the future, I recommend this program most highly. Henrietta says, I want this knowledge to be shared with every young person out there. Let's stop giving our money to high credit cards, high auto loans, student loans, and so on, and start paying ourselves for the things we need, like a car, a house, an education, while securing our financial future for retirement. I do not want to have to work for the rest of my life. I want to be able to set a retirement date when I want. This is the beauty I saw in the system. It is a smart way to build financial security. The process was simple and easy to grasp because I already have the mentality of investing in myself first. Do it for you as I've done it for me. Dave says, I had to change my retirement strategy because what I was doing was not working. The standard 401k was not working. I was saving, but I wasn't getting out of debt. I lost a lot of money in 2008, and then credit card debt increased substantially. I wish I had done this when I was younger. Yep, don't we all? Andrew says, thank you for your advice and your help with our savings plan. Now, this was on a day where the stock market really took a dip. Many of my coworkers were concerned all day about the plunge of today, and I was able to simply relax. Thank you again. Becky says, if you decide to give the SMART program a try, we're pretty sure you won't be disappointed. We weren't and still aren't. The program is a magnificent, life-changing, and practical approach to financial freedom. And like many other people have said before, we wish we would have found this program sooner. So just imagine, with the Smart Wealth System, you can be rapidly paying off your debts, and instead of just sending extra dollars to your creditors, every dollar goes through your bank, stays in your bank, and builds your wealth for the rest of your life. If you don't have any debts, then think about the dollars going into the program, giving you a guaranteed internal return. Plus, you can use that money from your bank to make outside investments while the money actually stays in your bank, earning interest and dividends. Now, SMART is a lifetime financial system. It's not just about paying off your debts. It's not just about becoming your own financing source for cars, home remodels, vacations, child, grandchild educations, healthcare costs, and so on. It's not just about building job optional income. And it's not just about instantaneously increasing and creating a state to pass on to your heirs. It's all of the above. The Smart Wealth System course will clarify and focus your finances on eliminating any debts while simultaneously growing your private bank's money pool that you control and can access at any time for any reason. And will help you build additional wealth through safe, secure investments backed up by real assets, not just monthly statements. But time is of the essence. The Smart Wealth course starts this week. This offer is only going to be available until Sunday at midnight Pacific time. If you don't take this offer, you'll have to wait for the next class, and you may have to pay a higher price. So, what is the price, right? Well, let me put the value in perspective first, and then you'll be really pleased with the price. Thousands of people have paid an average of $3,000 each to attend the Tony Robbins Wealth Mastery programs that I taught all around the world. Thousands of people paid an average of about $4,000 each for transforming debt into wealth coaching from my previous program. If the Smart Wealth System course could help you reduce your monthly expenses by just $850 a month, and that's way doable. I mean, think about it. It's a car payment and 2 or 3 credit card payments. That is way doable. That would improve your cash flow by $10,000 a year. Now, add to that, if your Smart Wealth System could build enough wealth to generate an additional $10,000 a year in additional income, which again is way achievable, that would increase your net job optional income by $20,000 a year. That's the real results value of what we're teaching. It's not just slides and handouts and printouts and videos. It's the change that it makes in your financial reality. And that's the kind of change it can make. So when we're talking value, that's the value. But let's just consider the value of what's in the SMART course. In fact, let's just consider the value of the 4 online classroom webinars. And remember, I said we've actually changed that to unlimited. But let's just say there were 4 live webinars. These are hour-and-a-half sessions with me and Tony. Now, wealth coaches and financial advisors routinely charge $200 to $500 an hour or $1,000 per review session. You're talking about 2 guys that have spent the last more than 2 decades learning and teaching the intricacies of managing personal finances and building wealth and paying off debt. So what are we worth? Well, I think we're certainly in that category and probably higher. But let's just say instead of both of us, we'll give you a 2-for-1 sale and say that 4 sessions are only $1,000 each, and that's a $4,000 value. That's really underselling it, but let's just give it a $4,000 value. And this $4,000 doesn't include the value of all the other educational components in the course, like 6 teaching lessons with video, audio, slides, lesson handouts, and spreadsheets, and 16 bonuses, including downloadable audio lessons, PDF printable tools, and spreadsheets. Or the special bonus, which is a free personal one-on-one private bank consultation, where you find out how much your job optional income, your Smart Wealth System could build for you by your job optional income age, and how rapidly it could be paying off your debts. This is priceless. Can't even put a price on this. Of course, you won't pay anything like the $20,000 potential result difference this course could make in your life. And you won't even pay the $4,000 value of 4 live sessions with me and Tony. The Smart Wealth System course is just $497. And that is a killer deal. It's a great, great deal. But Tony and I are really focused on making this irresistible because we know the change this course could make for you and those that you love, that matter to you. So if you're ready to act and take charge of the rest of your financial life, I'll give you a $200 quick action discount today. So that means today you can have the course, all that I just described to you, for just $297. Now, let me put that in perspective. My daughter is an accountant. One of her classes, one of the textbooks for that one accounting class cost $380. That's more than we're charging for everything you just heard about. So now you can see why I said the price will likely increase in the future, because $497 minus $200 is crazy. It's just insane. There's so much value there. But if $297 is a stretch for you right now, we still want to try to help you do this. So you can make 3 payments of just $107. That's $107 this evening, $107 in 30 days, and $107 more 30 days after that. And even these low prices come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. See, this is outrageous. So let us mentor you. In the Smart Wealth System course, you'll be learning from 2 people who have dedicated nearly a combined half-century to researching and teaching personal finance strategies. We've helped millions of people around the world. We can save you a half-century of mistakes. How much would you pay to save even 1 year of wasted time with your finances? Now, an order button should be showing up right about now over on the right over there by the chat. You should click it. By applying, it'll pop open in a separate page, by the way, so you'll still hear this going on and you won't miss anything. By applying this system, you could pay off your debts if you have debts. You could keep the same dollars growing in your private bank at the same time. You could build tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars of retirement savings or more, instantly increase your estate's net worth, save to educate children, know their education will be paid for even if you died before you saved enough, boost the return of any investment, and add thousands to your retirement income stream. So click the Get Smart Now button over there and build job optional income. You can make 1 low payment of $297 or make 3 lower payments of only $107. And you can use a credit card or PayPal. And PayPal has a thing called PayPal Credit in the United States where you can have 6 months, no interest for 6 months, same as cash. So that's an option if you choose PayPal. First, you choose the PayPal option, and then the PayPal Credit option will pop up inside PayPal. Now, the class starts this coming week. Actually, you get the material as soon as you do this. But if you don't take this offer, you'll have to wait for the next class, and you may have to pay a higher price. But more importantly, you're going to delay your arrival at job optional income. The later you start, the later you get there. If you're not happy, as I said before, we will give you your money back. We do not want to take your money. Tony and I do this to help you have a better financial life, not to diminish it. So if you don't think your financial life has been improved, we don't want your money. You won't even have to talk to a human. Just send us an email and we will quickly process your refund. That's how much we believe in this. But you might be saying, wait a minute, what if I might not be available at the scheduled live webinar times? Which, by the way, right now are 7 o'clock Eastern, Thursday evenings. Well, let's go back. Let's go back to that one. These are archived, okay? They're recorded. You'll get, within a couple hours after the webinar, you will get a link to watch it, and then there will also be archived inside of your course portal. When you get the course, you get a login with your username and password, and you will then be able to get into the course. And inside there, you will find all of these archived, not just the ones for right now, but the ones that have already happened. And they'll be just put in there, and so that archive will just get bigger and bigger. How about I'm too old? Well, you know, I don't really agree with this, because the system we're really talking about is a generational wealth building system. Not only are you talking about how is this going to benefit you and the rest of your life, but we're going to teach you a system that you will want to share with your children and your grandchildren, and you will actually want to help build a system that will cascade money down. And we'll show you how to do that from generation to generation, where actually each generation can be wealthier than the previous generation. Now, that's way different from the way it works for most rich people who just give their kids money when they die. That money is, on average, it's gone in 2 generations. It's completely wasted. This can go the other way, where each generation gets wealthier. I got my private bank and started down this process when I was 63. Okay, so you got to decide for yourself if you think you're too old. How about I don't know anything about investing? Hey, great. We teach you how in session 5. We teach you how to invest in the things that will be safer for you to invest in. How about I don't have any money to work with to build wealth? Well, in sessions 2 and 4, we teach you how to increase your margin by first managing your spending, and second, by paying off debts. Then you'll have money to build wealth. How about I don't have the money for the Smart Wealth course? Okay, I'm sorry if you feel this way, because I know it can be kind of depressing to be in that place where you feel like, man, I can't go get a latte from Starbucks. But think about this. If I were sitting here with a gold bar, let's say, that was worth $10,000, and I said, you know what, I will sell you this gold bar for $297, you would find $297. So it's not really about I don't have it. You'd be turning the couch upside down and doing whatever you got to do, shaking your kids upside down, whatever. You'd find a way. Now, I'm not trying to tell you to go out, and do crazy things to get the money. I'm trying to say that it's a value proposition. That's really what it is. If you saw the gold bar, you'd say, yeah, I want that. It's worth $10,000. I'll find $297. I'm telling you something that could be worth $20,000 a year to you. And it's $297. So you have to decide this one on your own. How about I already know about investing? That's great, because we teach you about the bank that can actually add return percentage to every investment you already know how to make. So it's a win-win-win-win. The people who take action now will be growing their job optional income. As Tony Robbins puts it, the number one key to success is the ability to take action. So click the Get Smart Now button. Please do it. And then we will get to the questions and answers, and you can click at any time during the time we're doing Q&A. And really just go over there and take a look at it and look at all the stuff, because I got it relisted there about all the stuff that you're going to get while we do that. So, okay, here we go. We're going to go back on camera. All right. So this is your opportunity to ask me some questions. But first of all, I want to make sure that we get you your Kindle. So let's see, we'll come up with a question. Should we use something different than we used before? Yeah, let's just use a different lesson. Let's just use a different letter. Okay, so here's the question. The first one that answers this question. And Brian, thank you. Brian's on board. Appreciate that. Do this. I mean, how you get to get in and see the entire course, and you could get your money back. So, I mean, how crazy is it if you did? Okay, and if you see me looking over here, it's because this is my monitor for where I kind of run the webinar from there. So anyway, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. All right, here's the question. First one that answers this correctly, my partner Tony back over there behind the camera is watching this stuff, and he'll know who did it first. What does the T in SMART stand for? This is a smart wealth system, the 5 steps, S-M-A-R-T. What's the T stand for in the word SMART? First person to answer that correctly wins a brand new Amazon Kindle Fire, and that is a really cool thing. I've got one. I love it. I read books on it. I can check email on it. I can go on the web on it. It's really, I like it a lot. So what's the T in SMART stand for? If you're the first one to answer that correctly, then you win it. All right, while we're doing that, let's get on to the questions and answers. So I see one question in there. Carol's, and I'll let Joseph is the winner.
Maury almost had it.
Ding a ding a ding a ding. Maury, you were close. All right. So Tony's okay. So who's actually got it? Joseph. All right. Transition to investing like a banker. You are right, Joseph. And that's a really important step, being able to invest like bankers. Those guys know how to make money. All right. So Tony, you put a question up there for me. Carolyn Walker wants to know, what if I don't have any savings? How can you help me? Okay. You don't need a pile of money to do this. This is not like, oh, I got all this money and now I'm going to move it over here. I mean, if you do, we can find a way to make that happen. But normally, this is the best way to think about your private bank is a replacement for like any saving you are doing, like your 401k or your IRA. I would say, for example, if it was a 401k, you don't necessarily want to close that or liquidate it or borrow out of it to get the money, but you could maybe say, you know what, I'm going to stop contributing to that, or I'm going to reduce my contribution down to just what the employer matches. I'm going to take everything else and start putting it into my private bank. So We would look at more, if you look at it more like a retirement savings plan, if you will, in that kind of a context, you'd be thinking about what can I put into this monthly to build it. That's why we talk about controlling your margin, paying off your debts, that kind of thing, because we want you to look at how you can start funneling that money into your bank. It's not really about having a pile of money somewhere that you move over. Some people do. I mean, there are people with an inheritance, or other, we deal with situations like that where they do have a wad of money that they could put in, and we work a way out for that to happen, but it's not necessary. Okay, next question. Nicole wants to know, how long does the private consultation session last? Well, it can be more than one session, actually. If you want, and I should clarify, this is a session to examine a private bank for yourself, or, you know, for you and your family. So that's its purpose. It's not to say, hey, John talked about this, and, you know, what do I do with that? I mean, if you've got questions on any of that stuff that was in the presentation today, ask it tonight, or send us an email at any time and ask those questions. The one-on-one session is strictly to explore having a private bank. And so that's what that's for. But that could be one session, 2, 3 even, if that's what it takes to get you the information. Then you have some questions, then you get more information. And if you decide to do one, we can actually help you do it. So you'll get all the way through the process in one place. So that's, but it'll be as long as is necessary, Nicole. Okay, so next question. Do we have any other questions? Lori, how much capital do you need to create your private bank? Okay, I would say practically on a monthly basis, $300 a month is pretty much a practical minimum. And if you think about it, okay, you might be going $300 a month. Wow. Or maybe you're thinking, oh, that's easy. Depends on where you are right now financially. But think about it this way. This is a wealth building system. If you were doing $300 a month, let's just say it all went right in, and let's just eliminate interest for a moment. That's $3,600 a year. Okay, how much would you really need to retire, or to be able to pull a stream out of it that would help you in retirement in any significant way? If you're putting away $3,600 a year, at the end of 10 years, you have $36,000. And so you have to ask yourself after a decade, now, okay, with interest, maybe you got 40,000, you know, or whatever it is. Still, how long will that last you? So the reason that we say 300 is one of the reasons we say 300 is a practical minimum is because we want you to be thinking about finding a way to start building something significant for yourself so that you can do stuff with it. Like if you're going to use it to pay off debts at the end of the year, you'd have three grand, let's say, to pay off a credit card balance. Well, that's reasonable. You could probably pay off a credit card with $3,000. So, you know, you can start doing things that will change your financial equation. So I would say that's a practical minimum. If you're doing it annually, you know, what's 300? It's $3,600. You could put it in annually if that's the way, like some people get a bonus, annual bonus, and they just use that to capitalize their bank. Because that's what you're doing. You're capitalizing your bank. And then that money's there for you to use. And it's also growing in there. Okay, so next question. We have Bernie. Bernie says, can private banks be started with lump sums or with monthly payments or a combination? Good question, Bernie. It's actually kind of an either or situation, although you can change midstream the way it's structured, but you could do it. The lump sum, it depends. It depends on the lump sum. So if you're thinking about it and you have a lump sum, that would be a great time to say, hey, you know what, I need to get that personal consultation. And by the way, the personal consultation, here's how that's going to work. You're going to get a series of emails. If you get the course today, you're going to start getting emails to give you access and all that. And so during the course of that process, usually around week 3, in the process, you'll start getting emails that have a link in them to say, click here for your personal consultation. And that will send you to a form that you put down some basic information that allows the person who's going to contact you to have a starting point with you. And so you would put, the question or anything you have in there, and you'll fill in the blanks. And so it's pretty simple. It's not any super highly private information. And so then you will be contacted. And that's where that initial contact can be just exploration. And then maybe you say, you know what, I want to see it on paper. I want to see how this would play out over time. And so they can create that document for you, share that with you, send it to you. So it could be multiple steps, but and then if you're dealing with a lump sum, that person, whether it's me or Tony or one of our other people like Ron or Tammy or Fred, they can help you. They can talk to you about how that lump sum could be worked into your bank and that kind of thing, or what a monthly payment might be. And they can show it to you either way. So you'll be able to see how that works. Okay, what do we got next? That's it? Wow, you guys are easy. Okay. So, we got another question coming. I just answered that one. Okay. Well, I must have done a bang up job on the presentation. So anyway, that is it. And I'll give you a chance here to, if you want to get a question in, we got a couple more minutes, but I want to reiterate the opportunity to build job optional income. I mean, if that's important to you, if you want to keep working until you die, that's a personal choice. But if you want to build job optional income, this is a great deal. You're getting life-changing information for less than $300. I can't explain that any better than that. So, as I said before, just the conservative value of the unlimited online classroom sessions with me and Tony at $1,000 a crack. How many sessions do you want? 10? That's $10,000 worth of consultation time with two of us. The actual value to your life could easily be more than, like I said, $20,000 a year based on payment reductions through debt elimination and increased income from your private bank. Right now, you can gain access to the next class for just $297. Remember, you can get full access immediately. You can get in and look at all the lessons. And we'll be conducting live online classroom sessions every Thursday evening. We got another question. I still see Bernie's on here. Okay, Lori wants to know, how much does it cost to create a bank in government legal fees? Nothing. No, there are no, actually, in fact, we don't, you don't have to pay us. It's all, clear to you when you actually see it. When you talk to one of us, you'll see all of it. But there are no fees, there are no government fees, there are no legal fees necessary for this. So, the answer is 0 to that. Okay, so like I was saying before, we'll do the live classrooms where you can do stuff like this. You can ask questions. That's the purpose of the live classrooms. We'll do a little bit of a review, but mostly it's because you've been in the course, you have some questions. So this is not a dump and run like a lot of information products you can get online where, here's your videos and audios. Yay, see you, thanks for the money. Well, we want to make this an educational experience, just like you would get if you were going to a college. And what college, by the way, could you go to for $297? One semester at ASU here in Arizona cost you almost $9,000. So again, is this a good deal? Yaha. Okay, so click the Get Smart Now button. The order page is going to go away shortly, midnight, Sunday. So get it, because we're going to start the online classrooms Thursday evening, and we want to give you time to get through that material before the first online classroom, and that's why we have this deadline on there. So click it, get it. If you find out it's not what you think you need, you can always ask for a refund, and you'll get it. Again, that order page is going to go away. Before we say goodbye, I promised you a couple of bonuses in addition to the Kindle Fire that somebody already won. And I want to give them to you. It was, if you remember, it was a couple of bonuses. One was the Calculate Your Debt Payoff, and one was the slides from this presentation. So you can review every one of the 5 steps, and you can see how it all works. Now, the links to these 2 free bonuses are on actually the order page. They're on the bottom of the order page. So you're going to have to click the Get Smart Now button to get the bonuses. They're down at the bottom of the order page, down, where the information is with the copyright and all that stuff down at the bottom. You'll see a couple of links to get the 2 different bonuses. And so just go down there, and while you're going down, hey, read about all the stuff that's in the course and think about getting it and checking it out. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee where you don't even have to talk to us. You just send us an email. So there's no risk for taking the class. The bigger risk to you is the interest you won't save and the job optional income you won't build. So again, I just ask and urge you to do it. And we'll be happy to get together with you in the course. And for those of you who are doing it, we will see you on Thursday in the first online classroom. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.